What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of our podcast. As promised, we're going to do an interview with one of the most notorious gray market watch dealers in the country. This is a guy that moves in the shadows. Only watch dealers know this guy. The only way to buy merchandise from him is actually to be an actual watch dealer, resale licenses and licenses in place. We were lucky enough that he agreed to be on this podcast. We're going to do a little interview with him, and then we're actually going to show some merchandise that he's got for sale. So, I'd like to introduce you to Peter Chou.
Talk about APs, we could talk about Frank Mueller's. We got Rolexes, Cartiers, and APs. Subscribe to my channel and come watch this shit in HD. You rockin' with Seth, so you rockin' with the best. Over 25 years, we've been better than the rest. Fred, he know these watches like the back of his hand. If you wanna learn watches, guaranteed this the man. I'm just saying. EW Podcast.
All right, so Peter, thanks for appearing.
Chou.
All right, guys. So, Peter, I'm going to ask you some questions. I want to find out a little bit about yourself, your background before you got into watch dealing.
Okay.
If there's anything I touch on that you don't want to respond to, just say, listen, I don't want to answer.
Just say
stop pushing me. Stop pushing me. I have that habit, pushing a little too much. So, first of all, Peter, you are Taiwanese, Chinese? What's your background?
Taiwanese.
You're Taiwanese. Okay, so you're not Chinese, you're Taiwanese.
Yes, correct.
But you were raised in the United States, but you weren't born in the United States. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And where'd you grow up?
Grew up in New York.
Oh, really?
Yes.
From the East Coast?
Which
I
part?
never knew that.
Manhattan, New York.
Okay, you grew up in Manhattan. All right, very nice. And you went to high school and college out there? Or
Yes.
All right. So when did you start thinking that watches was possibly a business that you'd like to get into?
Well, I started in business actually dealing with gold bullion,
Oh, okay.
which I transitioned over to watches. I had a mentor, Jan Bronson, which you also know. Of course. He showed me the way of the watch dealing business.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's right. Jan was also a gold dealer, basically,
Yes.
coins and bullion and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay, so you started in gold, and Jan brought you into watches.
Correct.
All right, excellent. And at what point did you figure out how to connect the dots internationally in terms of where the watches were located and how to move them around the world?
Well, at a very early stage, I realized you can't make money staying in one place. So I started traveling and buying watches from other markets and figuring out what they want in their market and what we want in our markets. And we buy from there or sell there. And over the years, it's been pretty good.
Okay. And the one thing I do know about you, that because I know you, you're my friend of mine. You were a football player in high school, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So what position in football were you?
I played safety.
So did you like hitting people?
Well, he was actually in the safe zone.
I think all the defensive backs likes hitting people.
Right?
So how does that carry over into the watch industry?
Well, funny you should mention, I was a wrestler in high school and college. So I do believe the work ethics that you pick up in sports really transitions over to life later.
That's a good point.
Teaches you to work hard.
The discipline behind
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Tenacity, absolutely.
All right. So how did you start picking up your first initial clients? How did you become a wholesaler?
Well, I had an uncle in Singapore who was in the watch business. So he would buy watches in the U.S. He would come and take me to conventions and show me like what to buy and how to buy these. And at first, I would just buy them and sell it to him.
Okay. Gotcha. So he was your first client, basically.
Correct.
You just needed one big guy to just buy up all your stock.
Well, you learn as you go.
Yeah, exactly. But slowly, I guess you started building up more American.
Well, slowly you meet more people and your circle gets bigger. And then you learn like what watches are good to buy for here and what watches are good to buy to sell there. You learn as you go.
All right. So would you take your watches actually to people's shops and offices around the United States and sell them? Or did you primarily do the trade shows?
I did the trade shows.
Okay. Gotcha. So what, IWJG?
Yes, IWJG's Antique Show.
All right. Those IWJG shows were really like the place to be back in the day, correct? We're talking about the
It's
90s and
probably
early 2000s.
Probably where 90% of people did business
Okay.
in the watch business.
So the good thing about the IWJG shows was that they only allowed certain people to become members. You had to have people that vouch for you,
That
correct?
is correct. Dealers only.
Dealers only. So you didn't really have the riffraff, the public
No.
coming in. What would happen if a dealer would write a bad check at a show?
They would kick you out of the show.
And that's it. Would they help you collect the check?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. All right. But basically, you write one bad check, and then you're blacklisted from being able
Yes.
to get in any additional shows.
Correct.
So that was kind of the secret sauce for the IWJG back in the day. There was no internet. You had no chance of, let's say, meeting some of these international dealers. We didn't even have email back then. There was no WhatsApp.
That was a place once every couple months that you would meet and do business with everybody from the world.
Right. And just to talk a little bit about the history of the IWJG came about, I believe, after the initial trade shows, which were the NAWCC.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so that was the old, like, more vintage pocket watch
Right.
guys, like the guys with the overalls
Right.
and the pens, whatever, the pen protectors.
The hunter
right?
vests, yeah.
And then somehow a couple key guys, I think out of Texas, started building a show before the show, and that became the IWJG. And then IWJG actually took over all the biggest guys.
It went from basically like shake of hand, few people doing business to thousands of members over the years.
All right. So I know a little bit more about your history, and I know about what you're doing. I know that you are absolutely specializing in Rolex watches. I'd say, 99.9% of the watches.
95% my sales are Rolex.
95%. Okay, so not 99, but 95% is Rolex. So
Correct.
you've really got your finger on the pulse of the market in terms of the Rolex market, correct?
I would like to think so, yes.
All right, so tell me, now that COVID has come and gone, we saw a huge spike in prices. Rolexes didn't really get hit necessarily the way that like APs and Nautiluses
Not
got
on the
hit.
same level.
They got hit. Obviously, the prices came down, but not the percentages that those other brands did.
Funny you should say that. In my experience, because I travel all around the world and I know the markets from Europe to Asia, I believe U.S. got hit more than the other places.
Interesting. You feel like the market prices in the United States actually got hit harder than,
Yes.
let's say, Europe
Things aren't so cheap in Asia or Europe right
or
now.
Asia? Okay. But you're also doing a lot in Hong Kong, correct?
Correct.
All right. So maybe our viewers know or they don't know, but basically China sort of took over as the major market for luxury watches, even more demand than the United States.
I think from maybe 2010 to 2023, the world market was China.
Right. And so if it's in China, that means it's Hong Kong because Hong Kong is a duty-free port.
You can only ship there.
So you
correct.
can ship into Hong Kong, and then all the Chinese businessmen
Will
or
go.
the government guys, they were buying their watches from Hong Kong. You
Correct.
can't ship watches into
No.
China.
You can ship to Hong Kong only.
Well, I mean, you can ship into China, but you get killed on the duties. Is that right?
No, they would just take it.
Well, they just thieve up.
Yeah.
That's it. It's gone.
Yep.
Watch,
Gone.
watch comes up missing, just gone.
It's just gone.
wow.
Interesting, huh? That's very interesting for our viewers.
Because there's not a legal way you can pay duty.
uh-huh.
Because it's not allowed, period.
So off the record, are all these watches that end up in mainland China just getting smuggled into mainland
comment.
China? No comment.
No
We don't know
snitching.
that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know anything about it, but my hunch is that this is literally the only way to get these watches in is you just
Well, what we do is we set up the trade shows here, and they come and buy. We don't know how they get in. Really, none of our business. They have their own way of doing it.
right. And it has nothing to do with a
Correct.
legitimate watch dealer who's paying taxes and whatnot.
Correct.
Interesting. So the market in Hong Kong right now is it down because of
Okay.
what happened during COVID or
All around the world is down. But I feel, based on my experience, the U.S. is down the most.
huh? That's really interesting.
Yes.
How's the Middle East market?
We'll see. It's stronger. They have local business. So, let's say for Hulk, for example, people used to pay 20, now it's 16 or 17. It didn't get that low down there. Okay, it went back, but it wasn't that low, and people aren't dumping.
And about what year did you see, like, maybe was there a shift, or was there a specific year where you're saying, wow, that's where I need to move my inventory?
2020. December. Me and a few of my friends got together and we were talking because it was things were falling apart, and we all got scared. We started dumping. There was no dumping in Asia, really.
Interesting.
Huh.
Well, the thing, also in Asia, here we had houses go for clothes. There's no such thing in Asia. People don't wait till they're broke. So that they held the prices. They didn't need to sell it as much. And it's not so easy to buy it cheap there, but they always had good. The watches there that come nicer condition, with cards, and they had the stuff because they all bought the stuff. But it wasn't like U.S. Now that it's bad, people dump. There's no real dumping there. It just, yes, it's not as good, but people aren't so scared with their dumping watches.
Yeah, I was gonna mention. So in Asia, it's a different mindset. People
Yes.
don't really freak out and panic.
Correct.
In terms of any type of value on anything.
Correct.
It's just they kind of wait it out, they sit it out, and
Correct.
they just know it's going to be a better day.
I believe so, yes.
And now with you being a wholesaler to wholesalers, when the market is, I guess when the market is down or the market is rough, going to like an end user, how does that affect you as a wholesaler? Are you still busy?
We're always busy. I think the habit of buying for the retail people have changed. They expect to buy cheaper now.
Gotcha. So when the market's down to the end user, do you find that as an opportunity for you to go out and buy more goods at better
Well, that's
pricing?
what I was telling Seth. It's not so easy to buy cheap enough to make money now. Because people all pay more, and so people aren't so great about losing so much money.
Gotcha. And now, I mean, I know what my margins are like being a retailer, which are, this big. I mean, when it comes to Rolexes, I can just imagine what your margins are buying from Rolex wholesalers and then selling to Rolex wholesalers.
No, we between 3 and 5%.
3 and 5%.
Correct.
You sell a $10,000 watch and you're hoping to make $300 on the watch.
Yes.
Wow, amazing.
We do volume.
So I have a question. You're not looking for an end user? Is that off the table?
No, my end users always wholesalers who introduce people to me.
Okay.
I don't just take people walk in
Okay.
because I'm a wholesaler. I got to protect my people who buy from me.
Right, but you don't sell to anyone that doesn't have a resale number. Is that
No,
correct?
not supposed to.
So most end users don't have resale numbers,
Right.
so they're not going to be able to buy from him. In fact, I'll just say that if there are any dealers that would like to get in touch with Peter, I'm happy to put them in touch, but they have to actually be a legit watch dealer with a resale license. So get a hold of me if you want to get a hold of Peter. I'm happy to set you up with him. All right, so I thought it'd be fun, and I asked you to bring some merchandise. So you brought merchandise, but before we get into the merchandise, I just want to say that the way it works with the Rolex wholesale market, when you buy these watches, you get the watch, and maybe you get the card.
Correct.
Do you get a box?
Never.
Maybe.
Do you get a
Never get
hang
a box.
tag? Do you get an operating manual? Do you
No.
get a wallet?
Sometimes.
All right, that's the point I'm trying to make. Wholesalers of Rolexes, you sell the watch and you sell the card, and it comes in a plastic bag, and
Well,
that's basically it.
The market who I buy from, I'm buying for people, like privates probably. When they buy, they move, they don't keep a track of what the boxes are. They lose the cards. We look at the condition of the watch.
Right.
More than,
I just think it's funny that, when you sell, like I know when I buy from you, there's no way I'm getting a box with whatever I get from you. It's kind of funny. All right, let's bring out the merchandise. It's a huge box.
This is a mother load.
All right, so we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna quickly show a bunch of watches. Why don't we do this? So Peter,
You want me to handpick some, or you want me to
no.
run it?
Give him the watches.
All right, here we go.
Here, I have an idea. Let me.
While you guys situate the watches, I'm going to take another sip so I can catch up to Seth on episode 1.
All right, here. We're gonna put that on top of the watches. We're gonna put that on top of the tray. All right, so let's go through some watches. So why don't we do this? Okay. Let's hold up a watch real fast, and then let's show it in the camera. So you say what the watch is. We'll show it in which camera we're gonna show it in, and let's name a price. And when this video comes out I think it's coming out in less than 2 weeks, this watch should hopefully still be for sale, and you can contact Essential Watches and buy this watch. You're getting basically dealer prices right now. This is going to be fun. All right, here we go.
That's what we watch people call a Batman.
Yes, that's definitely a Batman. Do you know if that's the previous reference number or that's the current reference number?
I think the previous.
Previous, okay. How much is that?
13,000.
13, that's cheap. Okay.
Well, I'm quoting, wholesale.
Okay.
So
Seth, how about you say what that watch is worth on the market today? How about that?
It's more like 14.5.
Okay. No, that's cool. He holds the watch, and you say what it is.
okay.
Okay.
You sure about that price, Peter?
He's being
I saw
honest.
a lot of them.
Peter, you're only
Let's go.
gonna sell to a dude with a license.
No,
Well, if they don't have a license, I can't sell to them without collecting tax.
No. These watches.
Oh, I understand.
These watches are going through Essential Watches.
Yes.
So Peter's. We're gonna offer some to our
This
viewers.
Sky Dweller,
All right, so we got two-tone Sky Dweller,
Two-tone
silver
Sky
dial.
Dweller.
All right, let's go fast. How much is that?
that will be 18,000.
All right. Next, we got a sub no date, ceramic bezel.
Very nice condition.
How much would you wholesale that for?
10,000.
All right. It's a great deal.
That's a good deal.
This watch is normally 11,500, 12,000.
I've known you so long. I think when you were in the bike business, right?
Yeah, we go back over 20 years. We go way back.
Two-tone Daytona with a diamond dial.
This is a Rolex movement or a Zenith movement? This looks like a
This is a
Rolex
Rolex
movement. All right, so we got a Rolex movement, two-tone Daytona, factory white diamond dial. How much is this?
17,000.
I have a question about the two-tone Rolex Daytonas, because I know in the sport models there was a certain year where they had the two-tone that just went to the end links and not through the clasp. Did
No,
the
you're talking
two-tone
about
Daytona?
You're talking about
that's
the older
Submariner.
models.
That's a
Yeah, I
sub.
understand that. My question is, on the older Daytonas, did it have a non-gold clasp as well?
No.
No,
Or
not
always-
Daytona.
So Daytona always had two-tones
Yes.
all the way through.
Just Submariner.
That's really
had
cool.
The non-hole. Okay, so we got the Daytona done. Let's keep on going. Let's do a bunch
This is
of watches.
Starbucks, right?
That's a Kermit.
Kermit.
That's the 50th anniversary. So you've got a Kermit, no papers,
Nice condition.
good condition.
11.5.
This is engraved 11.5.
11.5.
Aluminum bezel.
Yeah,
Yes.
aluminum bezel Kermit.
And when Seth says engraved, he's not talking about the case back. He's talking about the rehat, the inner
Right.
bezel of the watch, which I believe Rolex started back in
Yeah,
2008.
inside will say Rolex.
There's,
Rolex.
there's only a couple
Right.
years where they made that watch with the engraved bezel.
Yes.
All right, so it looks like we got a ceramic two-tone sub. Is this the
Blue with white tag, card,
Okay, this is the 40 millimeter ceramic two-tone bluesy.
like new.
All right.
That reference 116613.
It is.
Very
Yes,
nice.
it is LB. Yep.
One of my favoritos.
How much?
This is 15,000.
15,000
With a card.
With a card. This is fun for the consumers. Uh-oh. We're pulling out an AP. This looks like the Biblos Summer Edition.
Summer editions.
AP.
Big boy.
Nice watch.
If you have a small
This
wrist,
has,
don't even
this one has
inquire.
box and papers.
Box and papers. Okay.
This is 65,000.
All
It's
right.
5.
So that's, to be honest with you, that's more on the retail side. Yeah, no one's giving this watch away. That's for sure. There you go.
This is a relatively rare watch. White gold single quick.
White gold single quick. I
What-
remember about 10 years ago, you couldn't find a white gold single quick.
Yeah,
Everyone.
these are pretty rare.
after
All right,
this
so this
watch.
is from the early 80s. It's a white gold 36 millimeter President. Looks like it's got a factory bezel.
But factory dial, aftermarket bezel.
Ah, okay. All right. Custom bezel with
And
the
the
factory
price on this
dial.
was 15,000.
So
Okay.
this for the white gold
Let's
president
sag
about
to
10 years ago. I know everyone was looking for this watch. Was it because dealers were buying them and just busting them down with diamonds and stuff
No,
like that?
no.
It's just
The vintage people,
uh-huh.
they like to put the rear dials into this watch.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It makes this watch valuable.
Right, it almost
Gotcha.
doubles the price
Yes.
when you put a stone dial
Triple
into it.
sometimes.
Ah, very nice.
I know a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
people
kept
are
it
looking
classic.
for like the bracelets for these. Sometimes you see the head only. Sometimes.
Yeah.
When you get the bracelet there, that's a treat.
And recently we've been getting inquiries for now
This is a
platinum
41
single
Datejust
quicks.
steel with a newer dial and a card. This is 7,500.
It's a good price. It's a classic.
What color is that dial, Seth?
That's the
The
rhodium.
rhodium.
Oh, the rhodium. Okay.
So that's the current reference number.
Yes.
What's the reference?
Oyster 300
So 126,300. Okay.
with card. So this
So
is a
then-
2018 with the card. And you said how much? You sell for 7,500?
Yes.
It's a good price.
So on the 126,300, I believe it has the larger index markers, right? More lume on the dial.
Yes.
Cool. A little easier.
This
to
is
read.
a steel Sky Dweller with a silver dial with a card.
So this could be white gold, but it's definitely stainless
Yeah,
steel.
steel.
Okay, looks like a white
This
gold.
is
I've
15,500.
never seen that watch in person before.
15.5?
Yes.
Oh, it's cheap.
Wow. I've never seen the silver dial.
It's
Now
normally,
you have.
Wow.
normally an $18,000
Because normally you
watch.
see this watch, everyone's after it with the blue dial. I've never seen the
Yes.
silver. That's very clean.
Yeah, people
If I
like
get a
white
Sky
and
Dweller,
blue.
this would be the one I get.
This is just more low key.
Yeah, totally. Love it. The complication's still there. Get a close up on that one.
This is a
Send that to
41.
the Are you gonna film that later?
41
No,
with
th-
a
th- he's handing him over here.
41 with a Jubilee band and the white gold bezel.
Okay.
The 126334.
Okay.
This would be 11.5 with a card.
All right. These used to be 13, 14 during COVID all day long. Great watch. 41 millimeter Jubilee fluted. It's a 2019 with a card.
This is the same watch, except it doesn't have the white gold bezel.
Right. So this Jubilee
Yes.
smooth. This is gonna be cheaper.
This is also
obviously.
126.
New reference number.
Yes. This will be 8,500 with a card.
Great deal. Great
Yeah,
deal.
that one's less expensive than the.
Yes, because of the white
Jubilee.
gold bezel.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like a $3,000 difference. That's
Normally,
that's a big
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big difference. Usually not that, but it definitely it's higher demand with the white.
Here's
gold
just a
fluted.
36 millimeter Datejust
Okay.
with a nice dial and card. This is 6,000.
That's
But
the concentric Arabic dial.
I think
so
I should
concentric
I
has
think
like
I should
that
just buy
snail
this one.
texture.
This is a very hard dial to find.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a great watch. 6,000. This is normally $8,000 watch. Wow, Peter, you're gonna be making.
How
our
about that piece
our
up there?
phones
Isn't
are
that
gonna go
something special
crazy.
now that it's discontinued?
This is white gold.
Oh,
Yachtmaster 2.
Yachtmaster 2.
Yeah.
wow.
This is good value, actually. This
This
is good.
has been discontinued, yes.
Yeah, this is.
This watch is like
watch.
new with a card. And this watch will be
We should just have them inquire on the website for this piece.
this will be 26,000.
Oh, it's like
That's
it's a
cheap.
giveaway,
26,000.
You
is cheap.
inquire in the comment
White
section.
gold.
right?
Yeah. Oh, heavy. And this thing is mint. I don't see any.
That's another rare piece.
I
in
don't
the
see
pile.
any marks on the bezel. And this sandblasted bezel is usually the first thing to show marks. Wow.
What year is this?
2013.
Okay.
Mint condition.
Seth, I will say,
This is heavy.
when you buy watches from Asia, for some reason they keep their watches in pristine condition. I'm sure you noticed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, this is a great watch.
This is a rose gold Sky Dweller
Rose Sky.
with a white dial.
That's a beautiful piece.
Has a
That's
card,
I love the
2019
contrast on
card.
that.
This is $41,000.
Okay. All right. So these were about $52,000 during COVID. So they've come down about 20%. Great. Wow, this is heavy. Ooh, weighs a ton. Let's put that on camera.
This
Well-
one gets strong right here.
This is a nice watch. So,
There we go. Ceramic Daytona.
Ceramic
There it
Daytona,
is.
black dial,
Black dial.
mint, watch only. This watch is 23,000.
So this watch, they now have a new reference number, the 12. This is
12.
the 116500.
Correct.
All right.
That's
This-
that's the
this is-
original Darth Vader.
So
Yes.
these were okay. So just
They were in
interesting.
the 30,000 range.
Yeah, these were like literally $34,000 at the peak.
Correct.
And the whites were pushing 50, and this was pushing 35. And now you're saying what, $23,000
Yes.
for this watch?
Wow. Yes.
All right, it's naked. There's no card, but it is a great deal. Fantastic deal. Put this on camera.
yeah, I couldn't believe when those watches, the white dial was trading at 50 to 55,000.
70,000.
That
Unbelievable.
was ridiculous.
So
Unbelievable.
what we have here is we have another rose gold Sky Dweller, but it has the current dial with a card. No, undated.
Yeah, this is the best one. Well, they now have the newest one, but this is the rhodium.
Undated card.
Undated. So, but this is the white card. So this is probably something like a 2019, something
18,
like that.
19, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a new dial.
The
It's a very
rhodium.
nice condition watch.
So let me guess. If the silver dial was, you said 41, you're asking 44 for this.
Exactly, 44,000.
All right.
Wow.
I know my wholesale prices. Great watch for the money, and this was over $60,000.
Let me take a look at that piece. I just
Yeah.
want to see the dial. When you say newest dial, it's just like the newest color.
Meaning,
because of the
meaning
rhodium.
when they first launched this watch, they didn't have the rhodium dial, so this was
Gotcha.
a later.
Right.
This was a later issue.
On a bracelet, but I think they did the rhodium on the Oyster Flex first.
That's a good question.
Yeah, they had brown, they had the chocolate brown, and then they did the rhodium on Oyster Flex, and now they have this rhodium on Everose. That's beautiful though, beautiful piece. Now I understand there's a blue dial version of this watch.
All right, let's do a couple more. We'll wrap up.
This is a 36 millimeter Datejust steel with a nice blue dial with a card, 2020 card. This is $6,000.
That's a stunner. Reference
This-
116200. That is a like
Actually,
I said, that's the
this
entry
is
level.
this is 12600.
126.
really?
It's the new reference number. Are you sure it's that
that's a
cheap?
good-
My God, that's cheap.
It's inexpensive.
We're not gonna be able to sell any watches anymore on our website after this.
Well, I mean, we are. We're just gonna have more competitive prices.
Well, people who buy
You
to
know,
wear.
you know what we should do, Peter? I'm just thinking out loud. We should definitely feature your watches more often on our Instagram. Why don't we do that?
Okay.
We'll do like a special expose of your watches, your deals. So let's encourage everybody to follow us at 90210.watches and also Essential Watches on our Instagram channels.
Okay.
All right, last watch here.
This is a 36 millimeter two-tone with an oyster band.
Okay, so it's not a normal combination to see
No.
oyster with fluted. And
No.
this looks like an older. No, it's a newer.
it's new
Okay,
model.
it's a new model. New model. Okay, missing card. Nice champagne stick dial. How much are you asking for this? 85. This is normally a $10,000 watch.
So that's $500 more than the all steel version of that watch.
Yes.
That's a real deal.
And the trend here is everything's like 5-digit and newer, right? So about like 2010 and newer. Almost
Yes.
everything we're looking at here. Okay, very interesting.
Mostly in general.
No, not 5-digit. You're talking about
Okay,
6-digit.
6-digit,
Yes,
correct,
5-digit's the
yes.
older one.
This is a 41 millimeter oyster.
Datejust. Okay.
Datejust.
Oyster smooth. Two-tone.
This is really a bargain for what things are now.
Yeah.
This watch,
Uh-oh.
yeah, they
This
took the
watch
pen
needs
out.
some repair.
They took the pen out.
It's okay. We'll
Nah,
fix
just
it.
needs it. Just needs it.
This watch for 11.5 is a bargain.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's definitely a fair price. And if somebody buys it, will they get it like this with a broken pin, or
No.
so we'll fix it first. Okay.
They'll get a pen with it.
Easy fix.
All right. You get this watch repaired.
Peter, while you pulling the next watch, I have a quick question because
Okay.
a lot of consumers are out there just trying to figure out why are steel watches more expensive than a gold watch, and then no one mentions two-tone, but I understand. I've read some articles like two-tone is really trendy right now. It's really, it's of its rage, and
Well,
it
Fred,
has a
Everything's
strong
supply and
following.
demand.
Okay,
So, like a steel Daytona, it's got to be more money because it's more demand.
gotcha.
The two-tone is less money. It makes no sense, but it is what it is, you know?
Gotcha. But recently, have you found like two-tone selling a little bit more?
Two-tone's always sold,
Really?
right, Seth?
Just not one of those-
I beg to differ. I always felt like two-tones were the slowest sellers out of all the models. I'd rather actually have an all-gold version of the watch or a steel version. But listen, there's a risk for every single watch. There's people of different tastes.
Oh, yeah.
And if you can't afford the all-gold version of a watch and you want that gold effect, you go for the two-tone. End of story.
This watch is a little bit of a treat.
All right, so this will be
This
our
is
last
a little-
watch.
This is a little bit of a
Yeah,
vintage.
This is definitely
vintage, modern,
Yeah.
with the papers. This is actually a rare watch.
All right, so this is a 31 millimeter no date, mid-sized no date with the old style rivet yellow gold oyster bracelet. This is something you don't see every day, but this is good bang for the buck. Let me guess, okay? So you've got papers on this watch.
Yes.
So I'm going to guess that you are asking 12,000.
No, 95.
Oh,
Damn.
sold.
I was off on that one. Wow, that is super cheap. Someone's got to buy this watch. Someone's got to buy
With
this
papers.
watch. With a cert. Yeah, unbelievable. This is a S serial number. So this is what, early
1991.
90s. Wow. Amazing. Are you buying that
I
watch?
just threw that out
Yeah.
there. S is probably around 19.
Yeah, no, it's like S serial, neo vintage era. It's
it's
like 93-ish, I think.
Yeah.
92,
I think a U is 91.
92,
I think it's
93,
92.
yeah.
So if I can tell you.
Those STs, they all. I
Hang
know
on.
T
All right,
for
that
sure
was
is-
supposed to be the last watch, but we'll do one more. All
This
right,
is
go ahead.
probably, out of all the Sky Dwellers Rose, this is probably the best style. The
Best?
the chocolate.
I thought you were gonna say this is the least popular.
Chocolate.
Yeah, that's
Popular.
No,
that's
Well,
chocolate
it's
Arabic.
chocolate Arabic, yeah, versus just the index
96. This
markers.
watch is a 96.
So this watch, for the bang, it's okay, 43,000.
Okay. Nice watch. I think there's another chocolate dial that has stick markers that's actually more popular than this one. With the Arabics, this was the original chocolate, then they came out with a new one.
Right,
So you said this is how much?
43,000.
All right, 43.
Wow.
All right, let's show this on camera.
I think we'll do enough for today.
Peter, I hope that this is the start of something that we're going to do permanent, get you
I
up
should
on
hope so.
our podcast. It was really interesting. I want to ask you more questions about the whole watch dealing right now, but thank
Okay.
you for appearing.
You're
it was
welcome.
nice to you. You're
Pleasure being here.
a kind gentleman.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank
Good
you,
to see
Fred.
Yes,
And I'll
sir.
tell you,
Cheers,
eh,
sir.
in the whole watch business, the one dealer you don't want to piss off is Peter Chou. do not play games with him. Do not say you're overnighting a check and not overnight the check. Do not bounce that check. And whatever you do, don't disrespect this guy. You're gonna get grounded and pounded
Thank you, sir.
Throughout the whole watch industry.
like that. All right. We'll see you on the next episode, guys. Thanks a lot.
EW Podcast. I hope you know we talking about a watch.